Leah Simpson. I'm with C. Kearney Consulting, project manager. I've been with C. Kearney for almost 2 years now as a project manager. I can't seem to, I think there's some other participants in here. Let's see. If we would just want to go around and you guys can introduce yourselves and we can get the conversation going. There we go. Natalie, do you want to go first? Introduce yourself. You can just say where you are and what company you with. And
I'm Natalie Price. I manage the Marketing Information Services group. I'm with Kraus Anderson and we are in Minneapolis.
Okay, nice to meet you. Welcome.
Right.
Beth?
Hi, my camera's over here, but my screen's over here, so I'm just going to turn it on to say hi to everybody. This is Beth Harrison. I'm with APD Engineering and Architecture, and I'm the Director of Marketing here. We're about a 65, 75 person firm.
Nice. Well, welcome. Nice to meet you. Carlos, are you there? Let's see, you are.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I couldn't see where the controls were, but yes, my name is Carlos. I'm with Krasinski Construction out of Oak Brook, Illinois.
Nice to meet you. Thanks
nice to meet you as well. Thank you.
Dean, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm Dean Banks. I'm with 3Core LLC, a general contractor in Irving, Texas.
Okay, great. Yeah, we just had a meeting the other day. Well, welcome. Today we are here to talk about goals and goal setting and all that good fun stuff, getting ready for the new year. So my first question to the group is, are you currently setting goals for your company? And if you are, how are you tracking your goals? And for those of you who are new here, never attended, this is just a roundtable discussion for you to kind of learn and see what other people are doing. So you can just hop in. I don't have to necessarily call on anyone unless you want me to.
We have set a goal, sales goal, but we have a lot of other goals that we have set. But the real metrics come down to, did we reach our sales goal? And when is that work going to come to fruition and be put in place? So with Cosential, the varying stages of our selling process are reflected, and we can look at what we are doing from a work in place perspective with work we have under contract. But more importantly, we can project going forward what our anticipated revenues will be over a period of time. So that's and we can see that graphically demonstrated by the varying volumes that are being brought to bear on the various stages of the selling process.
Awesome. So do you use the widgets on your dashboard to track that? Is that
we're just really we had previous people running Cosential, and we've kind of cleared the decks and we're starting again, and so we're just getting this up and running. So right now we haven't had the chance to say yeah it's working or no it's not, but we've seen it work before. But we're really doing a restart.
Okay. So currently you're probably tracking that in like an Excel file, then you're not using the revenue projection grid or anything yet?
Correct.
Got it.
We do all our sales forecasting to direct us to what, in saying what Dean said, all our opportunities and all our business units and office, we pull all of what they've got in the higher stages are the ones we concentrate on. And that's what makes up what they decide their particular office or business unit sale sales for 2024 are going to be, and then it's all added together. And last year it was 1.25 billion. I suspect we will be asked to do 10% or more, but it really makes it slick. You update it in one place one time, but she can still export it to Excel for those that don't have it. We sit down in meetings. It's just very efficient. One person, meaning Amber, dealing with it. So it's been very helpful, game changer for sure.
Awesome. So you're using the revenue projection grid then?
I don't know if we use the grid as much. I mean, she uses, I should say, sorry, she does use, yes, the module, the goals module, and yes, yep.
And that's what you feel is the game changer, is using that module, right? Or just in general, tracking your goals and measuring against your goals has been a game
Well,
changer.
just as a whole, and then obviously like the widget, just the goal, that is our all encompassing. If there's one widget that used all the time, it's just your 55% of your goal. This is what your goal is and what you've sold. That's like a universal widget. Everybody knows what that is, whether you have a license or not. So yes, we are using some of the widgets.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it sounds like you guys look at that widget quite often. It's not like a monthly or quarterly. It sounds like it's a daily task occurrence. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Great to hear. Do you also do you use factored fee, or how do you further query, drill down into your opportunities? Because the stages, you know, I mean, it could be anything, but
Right.
do you use the feature of the win probability, being able to query out that way, or just use the factor?
We don't. We use manage volume, not fee. And it's just when it becomes a sale, when they mark it, and we have that whole system down, so we don't double count it, which has happened before when we were using Excel. And then, like you say, and then what is the estimated sale date? And as Dean spoke, then when does it start? Because then that whole pipeline, so when do they start getting revenue, is an art for sure. And that revenue side is more operations than us, but we still very much hammer on dates and dollars for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share?
We set goals, but they're not dollar goals right now. We have not done that. We're setting goals like we'd like to get this much more work in an area, get new clients, expand into an area, that type of thing, change some of the market areas that we're in. But we haven't sat down and said, okay, the civil group needs to get $5 million worth of work, that kind of thing. I have been playing with it a little bit in our CRM, but I don't really know how to use it. That's what I was kind of hoping to get out of this a little bit, is how to actually use that piece of it, and some of the good reports to use and tracking of it, so I can get a little better idea of what the numbers are in there and what I'm getting out, so I understand them better.
Yeah. What CRM are you using? I forgot to ask everyone.
Uninet.
You are using Uninet. Okay, so you're using Uninet, but you don't know how to use the revenue projection.
I don't. No, I definitely 100% do not know how to use it. And I have like 615 opportunities in here. Clearly right now I'm looking at all of my opportunities, not the ones that are just still open. But maybe I need to be looking at ones that we've won already, because I'm obviously projecting that money forward. And I'm not quite sure how to, I have it set up as quarters right now versus monthly. Our projects are very short. Like, they're usually completed in 2 quarters. Once we get them, they're done in a quarter or 2 quarters. So almost all the dollar amount would go into a quarter of the year. So putting it by month, it seems kind of silly to break it out like that.
Is that on the widget you're looking at, that you're setting it by quarters?
Or no, I'm not in a widget. I'm using the goals down the left-hand side.
Okay.
Yeah, the grid. I don't know anywhere else to go, honestly. When I put the goals widget on my dashboard, there's nothing in it. but I do have numbers put in here. I don't know why nothing's going up in the widget. So I clearly don't
Setting
know how
your
to use it.
filters in the widget, or are you just like
Well, and let's see if I have the correct widget. I guess
yeah,
I could tell you that. Activity goal progress is the widget I put on. So maybe you're talking
yeah,
about another widget. Yeah, so if I go into the settings for it, oh, no, it just has literally stages. But disposition, no, event type, no, it wants events, activity. What is activity goal progress? Sorry, that's activities and not, got it. That's not going to work. I need
yeah,
to
you'll
have
learn
a
to
different,
grab the goals widget. Yeah.
it's not under, I went under activities, I saw the word goal and I chose that one without going down to, I didn't even know where, or it was here goals. So like, revenue versus goal, revenue projection, sales, probably sales versus goal.
Yeah, there's a lot of different widgets in there you can fiddle around with, but
Yeah.
also go into the back and remember to set your values before you go there. Well, thank you for sharing. Anyone else have any, oh, did you have more? Have any company goals or use goal setting in their company? Are you just interested in potentially using them in the future? Okay. All right. Does anyone pull their goals into like Power BI, or are you guys only using the dashboard widgets? I know Dean mentioned he's just using Excel, but does anyone extract that information if you are using an Uninet, like pulling it into a Power BI report or anything like that? No fun stuff like that. Okay, just dashboard and Excel. Do you guys have performance assessments based off of goals and goal setting for your people or anything? Is anything tied to that? No.
Not yes and no. They look more at build time and how much it builds. And for
Build
work side,
time?
because there's not that many people that are doing sales, so they don't look at it quite that way yet. But that is some numbers that I've been trying to track and take a look at, like how much time people spend. But we haven't really been tracking how many wins they've had. It's more just their hours spent doing business hours.
On the sales side, how many hours they've spent
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
development?
how many? Yeah, and opportunities, putting proposals together, going to trade shows, that kind of stuff. We're just looking at their full hours right now. And sure, when they get evaluated, that's
Yeah.
the supervisor's looking at that, but it's not compared to what the business they brought in at this point in time. And that's something I'd like to look at. Like, what did you actually land while you were at that trade show or wherever you went to? And you know, how much? What did that equate to for us? It's different because we do multi-site retail. So if we bring in a client, it's a lot of repeat work generally, not like we landed a big job and it was a $5 million job or something like that. It's all, one job might be $30,000, but we might do 10 of them a year. So
Yeah.
it's hard to equate what that is going forward. So that's what's made it a little bit difficult to track that.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
Our president, Ray Catlin, has used Essential in the past, and using the example that you just listed of saying you had $30,000 job, but you may have 10 of those in a year, we actually are going to list to the best of our ability and kind of a guesstimate of, okay, we're going to have 10 more of these and they may be 30,000, they may be 40,000, but our interest is looking forward to projected revenues and seeing where the curve falls off. In other words, if we see projected revenues going out 6, 7, 8 months, and then all of a sudden the line goes down to little or nothing in projected revenues, we know that we better expend some shoe leather and contact time to get that backlog, if you will, or projected revenue up. It's so that we don't come to the point where we don't have any and we're in trouble. So and we can measure by individual, but that's not really where we are right now. We're just trying to, as a company, see where our projected revenues are going forward. And that's the biggest management tool that we see Essential helping us with. Ray has to do, our president has to go in front of a board monthly. And that's why the validity of these entries, we need to try as hard as we can to make them correct. Don't get conservative and don't exaggerate. And he has to be able to, in good faith, say, okay, here's our projected revenues over the next 1, 2, 3 quarters, or a year and a half even. And over time, if he's exaggerating these projected revenues, the board's going to have less of a tendency to believe him. So we really work hard to try to get correct entries, if you will, for our projects going forward. And of course, with the stages, we've set discounting percentages on what stage we are in the selling process. So far, we're happy with what we know, but it's going to be a learning experience over time until we as a team gain real confidence in our ability to project revenues.
Yeah, it's definitely a vital piece. Are you guys using your factored fee or win probabilities? How are you querying yours down?
We go by stage, and it's a preset a preset discounted probability. For instance, the initial stage is we only take 15%, and we only do projections on a job. Let's say a job is $10 million. We just do a flat line month to month projection of that job over time. Because if that job lasts 12 months, for instance, we would just take 12 into the project amount and project an exact same number each month instead of trying to do a billing curve, because in our business, the billing has 2 peaks in the curve and it's difficult to project. So we just do a flat line projection of monthly revenues over the projected duration of the project.
Yeah. Okay. That was going to be my next question. Flat line. Awesome. Okay. Does anyone else use a billing curve or on their revenue? No. Those usually are pretty helpful when you have large projects, like projects that are going to last like 5 years, or when you have a long pre-con period. You don't want to project $5 million when you're probably only bringing in like $30,000 and the bulk of it's at the end. So those can be very useful, but not something you want to use on every single project. Okay, we're coming to the end here, but I'll just throw out one question. So if you are who manages your goals, like your file, whether it's the Excel file or the revenue projection grid or the goals grid, like who's managing that, setting that? Do you have multiple users in there setting those, which can be pretty tricky if you're using the revenue projection grid or the goals grid, because you can easily disturb other people's work. Do you have a single source managing that, or multiple people? Single source?
Just one person. We don't want anybody going in there. I do wish Uninet CoEssential would make it easier to set those up at the beginning of the year. The nice thing is to set it up and it's done, but we do construction management and we do general contracting, 2 different ways. So we have to set those up because offices and business units do both. So that gets a little cumbersome, but when she does it once, it's good. But I know they've talked about maybe fixing that, but who knows?
Yeah, it can be. It's definitely a tedious task to set those up in Uninet, but when it's done, it's amazing. But
Agreed.
it's like a room for error there. Anyone else? Is it single source or do you have multiple people managing it? And if you have multiple people managing it, how does that work for you? No one else?
Well, since we don't actually use it right now, those widgets, yeah, but it would probably be single source. It would probably be just me setting them up for everybody else, and
Yeah.
flipping them out for them to see. And I know there's other reports I do where I create them per person and then push them out for them to see. So even though they could find the stuff elsewhere, it's just easier for them sometimes to have a report and just go right through it. I think training in the CRM is a difficulty. People are like, one more software can't handle it. So it's just easier to one person to do it and say, here's where it is, and then I can see it that way.
Yeah, especially in CRM, it can be scary to have other people in there because, you know, you push one button and you just reset everything and there's no return button. So,
Yeah,
you know, if you're
that is definitely scary.
Yeah,
I've definitely gone in a few times since other people have been able to enter stuff in the last 6 months or year. You go in and you're like, how come we have 4 of these companies now? Why didn't they see the note that popped up that said this company already exists? And they don't understand how to link things together and so on. So doing the reports, I don't think they would get the information that they were really looking for if they tried to create one themselves.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everyone for sharing, and my apologies for being late and all my technical issues, but and I you know, sometimes that happens to the best of us, but I think we still had a good conversation anyways. If you guys have any further questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help and assist with anything. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you. See you next time.